The untrained mind believes the world is the source of its troubles. If only circumstances were different, it cries. If only others would change. But the warrior who seeks mastery knows the enemy is within. Your anger is not caused by the fool who insults you. It is your own lack of discipline that allows those words to disturb your peace. Your fear is not created by the danger before you. It is your attachment to outcomes you cannot control. Your weakness is not the fault of temptation's strength. It is your failure to cultivate inner resolve. This is not cruelty, this is liberation, for if the enemy is external, you are powerless. But if the enemy dwells within, then victory is possible. The battlefield is your own mind, and you hold both the sword and the shield. The first principle, stillness before action. Watch the master swordsman before the duel. Does he rush forward in wild fury? No. He stands motionless, breathing slowly, his mind like the surface of an undisturbed pond. Only when perfect clarity is achieved does he move. And when he moves, the battle is already won. So it must be with every action in your life. Between stimulus and response, there exists a space. In that space lies your power. The untrained person has no space. Desire arises and they act, anger flares and they lash out, fear strikes and they flee. They are not living, they are being lived by their emotions, but you must cultivate this space. When craving arises, do not immediately satisfy it. Pause, breathe 3 times, deeply and fully. Observe the craving as you would observe a cloud passing through the sky. Present, but not requiring action. Feel it in your body, name it without judgment. This is hunger. This is restlessness. This is fear. In this practice, you discover a profound truth. You are not your impulses. You are the awareness that observes them, and what can be observed can be mastered. The second principle, daily discipline, is the forge. The sword is not sharpened once and forgotten. Each day, the warrior tends to his blade, removing rust, honing the edge, maintaining perfect balance. Neglect this for even a short time, and when the moment of need arrives, the weapon fails. Your self-control is no different. You cannot train discipline only when you need it. The moment of crisis is too late to begin building strength. Self-mastery is forged in 10,000 small decisions made when the stakes seem insignificant. Rise when you said you would rise, though the bed is warm and the morning is cold. Sit in meditation for the time you committed to, though the mind screams with boredom. Complete the task you set for yourself, though every part of you seeks distraction. Speak with courtesy to the person who annoys you. Fast when you decided to fast. Train when you decided to train. These seem like small things, they are everything. Each time you honor your word to yourself, you forge another layer of strength into your character. Each time you break it, you weaken the structure of your being. The samurai understood how you do anything is how you do everything. The warrior who cannot control himself in small matters will crumble when great challenges arrive. The third principle, embrace discomfort as teacher comfort, is the slow poison that weakens the spirit. The body that knows only warmth and softness becomes fragile. The mind that experiences only pleasure becomes dependent, then desperate, then enslaved. But the warrior seeks out hardship as a blacksmith seeks out fire, not because he loves pain, but because he knows transformation requires heat. Stand in the cold water, sit in silence when your mind rebels, fast when others feast, wake before dawn when sleep still calls. These practices seem severe to the soft and undisciplined, but they are acts of profound wisdom. When you voluntarily choose discomfort, you teach your nervous system a crucial lesson. Discomfort will not destroy you. You discover that the suffering you imagined was far worse than the reality. You learn that you are capable of far more than you believed. And when inevitable hardship arrives, as it always does, you do not break. You do not flee into distraction, addiction, or despair. You stand firm because you have already proven to yourself that you can withstand the storm. The untrained person is controlled by the weather of circumstance, blown about by every wind of fortune. But the disciplined warrior has internalized the seasons. He carries winter and summer within himself, and no external condition can move him from his center. The fourth principle, single, pointed focus. The master archer does not think about the target behind this target, or the competition next month, or what others will think of his performance. His entire being is concentrated into this moment, this breath, this draw of the bow, this release. This is the power that modern life systematically destroys in you. Your attention is fractured into 1,000 pieces. You begin one task while thinking of 5 others. You speak with one person while your mind is elsewhere. You eat without tasting, walk without feeling, live without presence. And in this fragmentation, you lose all power. Self-control requires that you gather your scattered energy and focus it like sunlight through glass concentrated enough to ignite fire. Choose one thing, do only that thing. When the mind wanders, bring it back gently, without judgment, as many times as necessary. 10,000 times if needed. This is the practice. Whether you are washing a dish, writing a letter, training your body, or speaking with a friend, be entirely there. Pour your complete attention into the task. This is not merely a way of working. It is a spiritual practice that rebuilds the fragmented self into a unified whole. The person who cannot control their attention cannot control anything, but the one who masters focus holds the key to all mastery. The fifth principle, prepare for death daily. This is not morbid philosophy. It is the foundation of true freedom. The warrior who meditated each morning on his own mortality was not inviting darkness into his mind. He was burning away the trivial concerns that enslave lesser men. When you truly understand that your time is limited, that this very day might be your last, everything changes. The argument that seemed so important reveals itself as petty. The craving for one more indulgence loses its grip. The fear of embarrassment or failure becomes laughable. What does any of it matter when measured against the certainty of your eventual end? But here is the paradox. By accepting death, you finally begin to live. You stop postponing what matters. You cease wasting your precious days on distractions and complaints. You act with the urgency and clarity of one who knows the value of time. And your self-control becomes effortless because you have answered the fundamental question: for what am I saving my strength? Not for some imagined future of endless tomorrows, but for this moment, the only one you are certain to possess. Final teaching. The path has no end. You may hope I will tell you that mastery can be achieved, that one day you will reach a destination where self-control is permanent and effortless. This hope is itself a trap. The path of discipline has no finish line. The master practices with the same dedication as the beginner, perhaps even more so, because he understands the depths he has yet to explore. Perfection is not a state to be reached, but a direction to be followed. Some days you will falter. You will break your own code. You will act from weakness rather than strength. This does not mean you have failed. The warrior who rises from defeat 7 times is more formidable than the one who never falls. What matters is this: when you stumble, you do not justify it. You do not make excuses. You acknowledge the failure with the same clear-eyed honesty you bring to success, and you return to the path. Again and again, for as long as you draw breath. This is the way of mastery, not perfection, but persistent return to principle. Conclusion. The sword you carry within. I began by speaking of the blade forged in fire. Now you understand, you are that blade. Every moment of discipline is a strike of the hammer, removing impurity. Every act of restraint is a folding of the steel, creating layers of strength. Every hardship you voluntarily embrace is the water that cools and tempers your spirit. The self-control I speak of is not the grim suppression of life's joy. It is freedom itself, freedom from the tyranny of impulse, from the slavery of distraction, from the weakness that makes you a leaf blown by circumstance. When you master yourself, you need no other master. When you control your mind, no external force can truly imprison you. When you have forged your spirit in the fire of discipline, you carry an unbreakable weapon wherever you go, the sword of your own will, sharpened to perfect clarity. This is the samurai method, not a relic of the past, but a living practice for anyone who refuses to be controlled by their own weakness. Anyone who chooses the difficult path of self-mastery over the easy descent into comfort and mediocrity. The question now is simple. Will you take up this practice? Will you enter the forge? The path awaits. The choice, as always, is yours. In stillness there is strength. In discipline there is freedom. In self-mastery there is peace. The untrained mind operates like a wild animal, driven entirely by instinct and reaction. When hunger strikes, it demands food immediately. When anger flares, it lashes out without thought. When desire whispers, it races toward satisfaction. This is not living with intention. This is being lived by your impulses. The ancient warriors understood a profound truth that modern society has forgotten. Between every stimulus that enters your awareness and the response you give, there exists a sacred space. In that space lies all your power, all your freedom, and all your capacity for self-mastery. The person who cannot access this space is a puppet, pulled by invisible strings of emotion and circumstance. But the one who learns to dwell in this space becomes the master of their own destiny. Consider how most people move through their day. An email arrives that irritates them, and within seconds they fire off an angry reply they will later regret. They feel bored for a moment, and immediately their hand reaches for their phone to scroll mindlessly through distractions. Someone criticizes them, and before conscious thought can intervene, they are already defending themselves or planning retaliation. They experience a craving for sugar, and within minutes they are consuming it, barely aware of the decision that was made. This is the condition of the unconscious person. They are not making choices. They are simply acting out patterns programmed into them by habit, emotion, and conditioning. They believe they are free, but they are merely reactive machines. The warrior's path begins with a simple recognition. You are not your thoughts, and you are not your emotions. You are the awareness that observes them. This distinction seems subtle, perhaps even philosophical, but it changes everything. When anger arises, the unconscious person says, "I am angry," and becomes fully identified with that emotion. But the trained warrior says, "I notice anger arising in me," and maintains separation. This gap between the observer and the observed is where freedom lies. It is the difference between being swept away by a river and standing on the shore watching the water flow past. Both experiences involve the river, but only one gives you choice about whether to enter it. So how do you create and expand this space? The practice is deceptively simple, though not easy. When any impulse strikes, whether it is anger, craving, fear, or restlessness, you must pause. Do not act, do not speak, do not move toward satisfaction. Simply stop, breathe in slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Hold that breath for a count of 4. Exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this 3 times. In those breaths, something miraculous happens. The urgency of the impulse begins to diminish. The feeling that you must act immediately starts to dissolve. You create a small island of calm awareness in the middle of the emotional storm, and from that island, you can see clearly. Now comes the second part of the practice, observation without judgment. As you breathe, turn your attention fully toward the sensation you are experiencing. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it a tightness in your chest, a heat rising in your face, a hollow emptiness in your stomach, a restless energy in your limbs? Examine it with curiosity, as a scientist would study a fascinating phenomenon. Do not tell yourself that you should not feel this way. Do not criticize yourself for the emotion's presence. Do not try to push it away or suppress it. Simply observe it with the same neutral interest you might bring to watching clouds move across the sky. Name what you observe. This is anger. This is hunger. This is anxiety. This is craving. In this practice of naming, something profound occurs. The emotion begins to lose its power over you. When you are completely identified with anger, it feels absolute and overwhelming. It is everything. But when you can step back and say, "I am experiencing anger," you have already created separation. The anger is now an object of your awareness rather than the totality of your experience. It is still present, perhaps still uncomfortable, but it no longer controls you. You have moved from "I am angry" to "anger is present in me right now." This shift seems small, but it is the difference between slavery and freedom. The emotion continues to exist, but you are no longer its puppet. What you discover through repeated practice is that emotions and impulses are temporary. They arise, they peak, and they pass away, if you do not feed them with action or rumination. The craving for sugar that felt absolutely urgent will, if you simply observe it without acting, diminish significantly within 3 to 5 minutes. The anger that demanded immediate expression will, if you breathe through it, soften and reveal the hurt or fear beneath it. The anxiety that insisted you must check your phone, send that message, or take that action will, if you sit still with it, prove to be far less urgent than it initially claimed. This is revolutionary knowledge. You do not have to obey every impulse. They are not commands. They are simply whether passing through your inner landscape. The more you practice this pause, this conscious breathing, this observation and naming, the more the space between stimulus and response expands. What began as a tiny gap, perhaps only a few seconds of awareness before habit took over, gradually becomes a vast space in which you have genuine choice. You begin to notice the impulse arising earlier, before it has built up momentum. You catch the first spark of anger before it becomes a raging fire. You feel the initial whisper of craving before it becomes a desperate demand. And in that early recognition, you have maximum power. The impulse is still weak, still easily redirected, and you can choose your response with clarity and wisdom rather than simply reacting from conditioning. This practice transforms every area of your life. In conversations, you stop interrupting and reacting defensively because you can observe your desire to speak without immediately speaking. In conflicts, you cease saying things you will regret because you can feel anger rising and choose not to express it destructively. In the face of temptation, you maintain your commitments because you can experience craving without acting on it. In moments of fear, you act with courage because you can acknowledge the fear without letting it dictate your behavior. You become like the master swordsman who stands perfectly still before the duel, his mind clear as glass, and only moves when the moment of perfect action arrives. And when he moves, the battle is already won. The ultimate realization is this: you are not your impulses, and you do not have to be controlled by them. You possess within you an awareness that can observe any thought, any emotion, any sensation without being swept away by it. This awareness is your true self, unchanging, unshakable, always present. When you learn to dwell in this awareness, even for brief moments throughout your day, you taste genuine freedom. The world can push and pull at you, circumstances can challenge you, emotions can arise within you, but you remain centered, choosing your responses rather than simply reacting. This is the foundation of all self-mastery, the first and most essential skill of the warrior's path. Master this space between stimulus and response, and you master your life. The sword is not created in a single dramatic moment. It is not the result of one mighty strike or one brilliant flash of inspiration. Instead, it is forged through countless repetitions, heating the metal, folding it over, hammering it flat, cooling it in water, then heating it again. Each cycle removes impurities and adds layers of strength. A master swordsmith may fold the steel 1,000 times before the blade is complete. This is not inefficiency, this is wisdom. The blade that endures is the one built through patient, repeated effort. Your character is forged in exactly the same way, not through occasional grand gestures or sporadic bursts of motivation, but through small decisions made consistently, day after day, when no one is watching and when the stakes seem insignificant. Most people misunderstand the nature of discipline. They imagine it as something you summon in moments of crisis, a reserve of strength you call upon when circumstances demand it. They believe they can live carelessly most of the time, and then somehow find discipline when it truly matters. This is delusion. Discipline is not a switch you flip on when needed. It is a structure you build brick by brick through daily practice. The warrior who has not trained his body cannot suddenly perform a perfect technique in battle. The archer who has not practiced daily cannot strike the target when the moment of importance arrives. And you cannot suddenly manifest self-control in a moment of great temptation if you have not been building it through small acts of self-governance every single day. Consider the simple act of waking when you intended to wake. Your alarm sounds at the time you chose the night before. In that moment, you face a decision. The bed is warm, the room is cold, your body craves more sleep, and your mind immediately generates convincing reasons why you should rest just a few more minutes. This seems like a trivial choice. What difference could 10 more minutes make? But the warrior understands this moment is everything. When you rise despite discomfort, you are not merely getting out of bed. You are keeping a promise to yourself. You are proving that your word has weight, that your decisions have meaning, that you are someone who does what they say they will do. You are adding one more fold to the steel of your character. Now multiply this single decision across your entire day. You said you would meditate for 20 minutes, but 15 minutes in, your mind is screaming with restlessness and boredom. Do you honor your commitment, or do you quit early? You plan to work on an important project, but a friend texts with an invitation to something more enjoyable. Do you maintain your intention, or do you abandon it for immediate gratification? You committed to eating mindfully and healthily, but someone offers you food that does not align with your goals. Do you hold your boundary, or do you collapse under social pressure? Each of these moments seems small. None of them individually will make or break you, but collectively, they are forging your character with every choice you make. Here is the profound truth that changes everything. How you do anything is how you do everything. The person who cannot discipline themselves to wake on time will find themselves unable to discipline their speech, their diet, their work habits, or their emotional reactions. The sloppiness in one area bleeds into all areas. Conversely, the person who maintains rigorous standards in small, private matters develops a character of steel that will hold firm when great challenges arrive. The warrior who polishes his sword every day, even when no battle looms, has a weapon ready when conflict erupts. The one who neglects this daily maintenance finds his blade rusted and dull when he needs it most. Your daily disciplines are not separate from the character. They are your character being built in real time. The mind constantly seeks exceptions and justifications. Just this once won't matter. It whispers, "I've been good all week, I deserve a break. This situation is different from my usual commitment. I'll get back on track tomorrow." These thoughts are not wisdom, they are weakness negotiating with itself. The disciplined warrior recognizes these voices for what they are. The part of you that wants comfort arguing against the part of you that wants strength. Every time you give in to these justifications, you weaken your structure. Every time you hold firm despite the rationalization, you strengthen it. The battle is not won or lost in the dramatic moments everyone sees. It is won or lost in these quiet, private decisions where no one is watching except you. This is why the ancient masters emphasized daily practice above all else. They did not train only when they felt motivated or inspired. They did not practice only when conditions were ideal. They trained every single day, in heat and cold, in sickness and health, in good moods and bad, whether they felt like it or not. This consistency was not punishment, it was the method by which they became unbreakable. When you practice discipline daily, it stops being something you have to think about and becomes who you are. The neural pathways of self-control become so deeply carved through repetition that disciplined action becomes your default response rather than a struggle. You transform from someone who has to fight themselves constantly into someone who naturally chooses what serves their highest good. Think of your daily disciplines as deposits in a bank account of self-trust. Each time you keep a commitment to yourself, you make a deposit. Each time you break one, you make a withdrawal. Over time, this account either grows into substantial wealth or becomes overdrawn. person with a robust account of self-trust moves through life with confidence because they know from repeated evidence that they can rely on themselves. When they commit to something, it happens. When they decide something, they follow through. This creates an internal stability that no external circumstance can shake. But the person who constantly breaks commitments to themselves lives in a state of internal bankruptcy. They cannot trust their own word, even to themselves. And this creates pervasive anxiety and weakness. The specific disciplines you choose matter less than the fact that you choose them and maintain them. Perhaps you commit to training your body for 30 minutes each morning, or sitting in meditation, or writing in a journal, or reading something that develops your mind, or maintaining your living space in perfect order. The content is less important than the consistency. What matters is that you establish non-negotiable standards for yourself and then uphold them regardless of how you feel, regardless of circumstances, regardless of whether anyone else notices or cares. These disciplines become the backbone of your character, the framework that holds you together when everything else falls apart. They are not restrictions on your freedom. They are the very foundation of genuine freedom. The transformation happens gradually, almost imperceptibly, until one day you realize you have become someone different. Person who struggled to wake on time now rises effortlessly. The one who battled constant cravings now experiences them as distant whispers easily ignored. The individual who once abandoned commitments at the first sign of difficulty now perseveres through challenges that would have previously broken them. This did not happen through a sudden revelation or a dramatic turning point. It happened through 10,000 small decisions, each one seemingly insignificant, each one actually essential. The blade has been folded so many times that it has become unbreakable. Your character, forged in the fire of daily discipline, has become a weapon that no adversity can dull and no challenge can shatter. Comfort is the most seductive and dangerous enemy you will ever face. It does not announce itself as a threat. It does not attack you directly. Instead, it wraps around you like warm blankets, whispering that you deserve ease, that you have worked hard enough, that there is no reason to push yourself further. Day by day, it softens your edges. Week by week, it weakens your resolve. Month by month, it transforms you from someone capable of enduring hardship into someone who crumbles at the slightest inconvenience. The body that knows only warmth becomes unable to tolerate cold. The mind that experiences only pleasure becomes desperate and fragile when discomfort arrives. And discomfort always arrives. The question is whether it will find you prepared or pathetic. The ancient warriors understood something profound that modern society has completely forgotten. Strength is not built in comfort, but in deliberately chosen hardship. They did not wait for difficulty to find them. They actively sought it out. They would stand in icy rivers, sit in meditation through storms, fast when food was available, train until exhaustion when they could have rested. To the soft and undisciplined, these practices seem masochistic or pointless, but they are neither. They are the forge in which unbreakable character is created. When you voluntarily choose discomfort, you are not punishing yourself, you are training yourself. You are teaching your nervous system a lesson it desperately needs to learn. Discomfort will not destroy you. You are far more capable than you believe. Consider what happens when you avoid all discomfort. Your tolerance for adversity shrinks with each passing day. The temperature needs to be exactly right or you suffer. Your food must be precisely to your liking, or the meal is ruined. Your plans must unfold perfectly, or you become anxious and upset. Other people must behave exactly as you wish, or you feel victimized. Your comfort zone, rather than expanding, contracts around you like a shrinking cage. Eventually, you become a prisoner of your own fragility, unable to function unless conditions are ideal, and conditions are never ideal. Life is inherently difficult, unpredictable, and often uncomfortable. The person who can only function in perfect circumstances is utterly unprepared for reality and will spend their entire existence fleeing from one inadequate situation to another. Now consider the opposite approach. You wake before dawn when you could sleep longer. feeling the shock of cold air on your skin. You take a cold shower, experiencing your body's initial resistance before it adapts and strengthens. You fast for a day, noticing how the desperate hunger you imagined never actually manifests, just waves of desire that rise and fall without destroying you. You sit in meditation while your mind screams for distraction, discovering that you can witness discomfort without obeying its demands. You train your body past the point of comfort, learning that the wall you thought was your limb, it was actually just the beginning. Each of these experiences expands your capacity. Each one proves to yourself that you are stronger than you believe. The mechanism at work here is simple but transformative. Your mind constantly generates predictions about suffering. It tells you that the cold water will be unbearable, that the hunger will drive you mad, that the physical exertion will break you, that sitting still will be torture. These predictions are almost always exaggerated catastrophes, but as long as you obey them and avoid the discomfort, you never discover their falseness. You live in a prison built entirely of imagined suffering. However, when you step into the discomfort voluntarily, you gather evidence against these fearful predictions. You discover that yes, the cold water is uncomfortable for about 30 seconds, and then your body adapts. Yes, hunger is present during a fast, but it comes in waves and is perfectly manageable. The suffering you imagined was a monster. The reality is merely weather. This evidence changes everything the next time difficulty arrives, and it will arrive whether invited or not. You do not panic. You do not flee into distraction, addiction, or despair. You do not collapse into victimhood or helplessness. Instead, you recognize the sensation. I have felt this before. I have survived worse than this voluntarily. This will not break me. You stand firm because you have already proven your capacity to endure. The person who has never tested themselves has no idea what they are capable of and therefore fears everything. But the person who has voluntarily walked through fire knows exactly how much heat they can withstand. This knowledge is confidence. This confidence is power. This power is freedom. There is also a deeper spiritual dimension to this practice. When you can sit calmly with discomfort, when hunger, cold, fatigue, or pain are present but you remain undisturbed, you discover something extraordinary about your true nature. You are not your body's sensations. You are not your mind's complaints. You are the awareness that can observe all of these things without being controlled by them. The body says, I am cold, and you notice this but remain centered. The mind says, I am miserable, and you acknowledge this but do not believe it. You discover a core of your being that remains untouched by circumstance, unchanging regardless of conditions. This is not philosophical abstraction. It is direct experience available to anyone willing to sit with voluntary discomfort long enough to find it. The contrast between the trained and untrained person becomes obvious in how they handle inevitable adversity. When hardship arrives uninvited, the untrained person experiences it as a catastrophe. They have no reference point for endurance. They have never proven to themselves that they can withstand difficulty. So they panic, they complain, they seek escape through any means necessary. They make the situation worse through their desperate reactions. But the person who has regularly chosen voluntary hardship experiences the same difficulty with completely different psychology. They recognize it. This is merely discomfort. I have trained for this. I know how to breathe through it, how to maintain my center, how to endure. The external circumstance is identical, but the internal experience is entirely different. One person is destroyed by what barely disturbs the other. This is why the warrior's training always included practices that seemed harsh to outsiders. It was not cruelty, but wisdom. They understood that the battlefield is unpredictable and brutal. The warrior who had only ever trained in comfort would shatter when real violence arrived. But the one who had deliberately exposed himself to cold, hunger, exhaustion, and pain had built an invincible psychology. No enemy could impose upon him anything worse than what he had voluntarily experienced. He carried winter and summer within himself. He had internalized the full spectrum of human external condition could move him from his center. He was unshakable not because nothing disturbed him, but because he had learned to remain himself regardless of what disturbed him. Begin today with small practices. Take your shower 1 degree colder than comfortable. Sit still for 5 minutes beyond when your mind insists you must move. Skip 1 meal and observe your relationship with hunger. Remove one source of habitual comfort from your day. These seem like nothing, they are everything. Each time you choose discomfort voluntarily, you are forging resolve. Each time you prove you can endure what you thought you could not, you expand your capacity. Layer by layer, practice by practice, you transform yourself from someone fragile into someone unbreakable. You become the master rather than the slave of circumstance. And when life inevitably brings uninvited hardship, you will stand firm while others crumble, not because you are special, but because you trained for exactly this moment. We have journeyed together through the 3 pillars that form the foundation of unshakable self. Control. And now you stand at a threshold. Everything I have shared with you is not theory to be admired from a distance. It is a practice to be lived, a path to be walked, a discipline to be embodied starting from this very moment. You have learned that between every stimulus and your response lies a sacred space where all your power resides. In that space of stillness, achieved through conscious breathing and mindful observation, you transform from a reactive puppet into a conscious creator of your own experience. You have discovered that character is not built in dramatic moments but forged through countless small decisions made daily when no one is watching. Each kept promise to yourself, adding another layer of strength to your being. And you have understood that voluntary discomfort is not punishment but preparation, not suffering but training, teaching you that you are far more capable than your fears would have you believe. These 3 principles work together as one integrated practice. The stillness gives you space to choose. The daily discipline gives you the strength to choose wisely. The voluntary hardship proves to you that you can withstand anything life presents. Together, they transform you from someone who has lived by circumstance into someone who lives with intention, from someone fragile into someone unbreakable, from someone controlled by impulse into someone who moves through life with the precision and power of a master. But understanding these principles changes nothing. Knowledge without practice is merely entertainment. You can admire these ideas, you can agree with them intellectually, you can even feel inspired by them for a few days. None of that matters. What matters is whether you will actually take up this practice. What matters is whether tomorrow morning when your alarm sounds, you will rise. Whether when the impulse to react arises, you will pause and breathe. Whether when comfort calls you, you will choose the harder path that makes you stronger. The transformation will not happen overnight. You will not wake up tomorrow as a master of self-control. You will stumble, you will fail, you will break your own commitments. This is not a sign of weakness, it is part of the path. What distinguishes the warrior from the ordinary person is not perfection but persistence. The warrior rises from defeat, acknowledges the failure without excuse, and returns to practice. Again and again, for as long as breath remains in the body, you now carry within you knowledge that most people never discover. You understand that self-mastery is not a gift bestowed by fortune, but a skill forged through deliberate practice. You know the method, you have been shown the path. The only question that remains is whether you will walk it. The world needs people who have mastered themselves. In an age of endless distraction and instant gratification, the person who can remain centered and keeps their word, who endures difficulty with grace, who acts from principle rather than impulse, this person is a light in the darkness. This person has power that no external force can grant. I do not ask you to be perfect, I ask you to begin. Choose one practice from what you have heard today. Perhaps it is the 3 conscious breaths before responding. Perhaps it is rising when you say you will. Perhaps it is 1 minute of cold water at the end of your shower. Start there, build from there. Let each small victory fuel the next. Let each day of practice strengthen the foundation for tomorrow. The forge is hot, the hammer is ready. The steel of your spirit awaits transformation. Will you enter? Will you endure the heat? Will you allow yourself to be folded, strengthened, and path of self-mastery is not easy, but it is worthy. The life of discipline is not comfortable, but it is powerful. The way of the warrior is not for everyone, but it is available to anyone with the courage to begin. Thank you for your attention, for your openness, and for your willingness to consider a path that demands everything and offers in return something